Welcome back to the Freedom Queen podcast. I have sitting here with me this morning in Miami at the Ritz, the most amazing woman. Many of you know her, and if you don't know her, you're absolutely going to get to know her, especially what's happening in the next month inside of Freedom Queen. But this woman, she bought a ticket to Freedom Queen Live with someone else last year in 2024. We did not know each other. And I'll never forget, she came with this person to Freedom Queen Live, and I was getting ready to go down to the stage, and everyone was kind of already in the room. And there's this woman that comes up the steps as I'm coming out of the elevator, and she's so bubbly and happy and has this aliveness about her that many people don't have. And she said to me, basically, what are you selling? Because I'm going to buy it this weekend. And I said, no, I didn't really know her. So I just said, you just wait. But you know, when you know someone, because you can see their spirit and their heart of who they are. And so I opened up the Freedom Queen Mastermind, and she bought the offer, and within 24 hours made 4x the investment back. She's now crossed $1 million in her business, and she is now a main stage speaker at Freedom Queen Live. She went from being someone's guest, really, not knowing Freedom Queen, to being on that main stage. And so Alicia May Morton is here.
Hey! Oh, Bridget, I'm so excited for this, and especially being at the Ritz and this moment. It's so full circle from this time last year, getting ready to come to the Vinoy and be there and be with you for the first time. And just wow, this last year, everything has shifted so much for me.
Yeah. Everything has changed, and everything's going to change after Freedom Queen Live this year. You know, there's a different weight to what you're creating this year versus last year. Last year, it felt like you were, not that you were starting, it felt like the lighting of a match or lighting of a candle. Now you're in a different season, which I actually prefer, which is like the big growth season. You're in a big growth and spark season now, where the fire is burning even brighter. So let's just drop right into the rest of this year, because this is what we were talking about before we started recording the podcast. What are you most looking forward to the end of this year? And not like, oh, I'm looking forward to this event or your premiere or your retreat, but energetically, what are you most looking forward to?
I'm most looking forward to what all of this is going to compound into for me. And I've already felt this throughout our weekend together on the VIP. My identity has shifted. There's something about my leadership that just feels so much more grounded and certain, and everything's landing. And what is coming across the various events and the plans that are moving from now till Christmas is visibility. Like visibility this season, like going into Q4, it's always been such a great time for me in business anyway to like really double down and make the moves for the following year to come. But especially it's what that means for me now, because the level of opportunity that's coming and being able to just, you know, really truly step in to that authority and to see myself. Because I feel now, like, as you said, you met me last year and I wasn't a beginner, but the match has been lit and it's been reignited for me. And it's like that audacity and that newbie energy that I had at the beginning. It's like having that fire again that I lost somewhere along the way, and I've minimized myself, and now I just feel like I'm playing a much bigger game.
Let's go into that, because maybe somebody listening to this or coming to FQL is that person where they've had a lot of fire at different seasons of their business. What have been some of the things that you've done over the last year to ignite that spark even more and find a new level of joy and momentum inside of the business?
For me, what started that, like the reignition, was in-person events, actually being a Freedom Queen and seeing my power reflected back to me that moment.
I'm thinking about our monthly
shit roster that we've had.
We'll talk about that. But that's
in person has been a big thing for this, because like the more conversations I've had in the room, and I've got in the room with people, I've been able to see reflected back to me my power. I've been able to have these conversations. I've been able to be with other women in the industry that have that same fire within them, and that's something that you can really ride off of. And for me, really pulling it back to the reason I started, I think that something I realized before Freedom Queen Live last year was that I lost my way a little bit again in the business, and it did become very much like a job.
What did that look like? Because I want somebody listening to this who maybe they haven't identified that yet, that is what they're experiencing.
For me, that followed a season in my business where I had a lot of clients that were dropping off and a lot of shifts that were happening, and it was almost like I knew my identity was moving, but my client wasn't catching up to it. And it really was a death and a rebirth in the business, truthfully, like from 2023 to 2024. But along the way, I wanted to protect my heart again. And that's why I started to play smaller programs, less launches, like really pulling back. And that is where the fire got lost, to be honest with you. And it became very much
protecting your heart. Yeah,
exactly. Protecting my heart and wanting to not wanting to upset people, not wanting to that old people pleaser Alicia tendency that I've had for so many years when I was in corporate, when I was growing up, that came back in, and this fear of wanting to be liked and wanting to, create this impact and have this incredible business, but just so much that was happening around it that was making me question, can I do this? Can I actually hold this all? And these moments in Freedom Queen Live, it was the catalyst. It was a real line in the sand moment for me, walking away from there going, look at you. Oh. You were one of 400 women in that room that said, I'm going to be on that stage next year at Freedom Queen Live. And I made it happen. Anyone in that room had that opportunity, still has that opportunity this year.
Yes.
And that's something that I just absolutely knew with full conviction walking away that I was going to make happen.
What were some of the moments last year when you were sitting in that seat that made you have a story or one micro moment vividly when you remember feeling yourself crack open again, like the shell come off of you from the last year of the death and rebirth that you were going through?
There was a real moment. I mean, there were so many moments, but the one that just comes straight to me, it was when you were selling the mastermind and you got us to stand up and you were speaking about what it means to be a woman, to be free. And I think what had happened for me is over the days at Freedom Queen, it had all been stacking. Everything from the speakers, from Hannah, from Courtney, from Steph, from various people I heard on that stage. Everything was just building and building, and I was just presented with woman after woman, powerhouse after powerhouse, and going, wow, I could be up there. I've got a story, I've got a mission, I've got a vision and a voice, and just it was a permission slip, seeing everything build. And then when you were explaining to us and kind of really storytelling and walking us through this vision of what it means to be a woman of Freedom Queen and freedom to build a movement, it moved something within me and reminded me of why I started this. And I started this for the impact. I always say, in my company, impact millions whilst you make millions, because there's always a person behind that, the transaction behind that transformation. And it was just such a call to action and reminder. And that's why when I stood up and I knew that you were going to present the offer, I was like, right, I'm ready to run to the back of that room and get my spot. I was doing the girl math and saw, right, there's all these people and there's only 50 spots. I'm going. I'm going, I'm beelining, I know where I'm off to. But I felt so moved in that moment. Yeah. It wasn't even a can I, because logically it could have been a can I. Yeah. I was still financially recovering from a loss earlier in the year in the business and things that had moved, but I just knew that I had to move mountains to get myself in that offer. And then look what happened in the 48 hours after. The investment came back, as you said, 2, 3, 4 times within a week, and just everything, the way that it all stacked for me through Freedom Queen, it continued to move me in that VIP time as well that we had. I was at a round table with these women and masterminding around my offer, and I had 2 people there that asked me about the offer, and one of those women paid in full the week after Freedom Queen. And it was damn, see, this is what happens when you're in your power and you sit at a table with other women.
And you're just close to them.
Yeah.
In proximity. And that's something that we were talking about before we pressed record, which is people coming with you. You have 30 people coming. How to leverage the room and how to be someone that isn't just an attendee, but actually make money, grow your community, your network, and the different relationships that you have while you're there at Freedom Queen Live. So it's not, yes, you're going to sit there and you're going to listen to the amazing speakers and be cracked open and feel that, but you're also going to meet all these incredible women. One collaborator, one new colleague could become a new client or change the trajectory for your business.
What I particularly love, Bridget, about Freedom Queen Live and getting yourself in the room at these events is that when I came last year, because I'd never been to a conference before in the industry, it was my first conference I'd been to.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've only been to like corporate conferences when I was in finance and banking before I started my business. So I didn't know what to expect, but there was this thing of, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to learn so much. And looking for like, what's the tool, what's the thing, what am I missing, like what am I really missing out on? And yes, so many things were picked up from speakers on stage and different things that were shared, but for me the real lesson that I learned was how powerful I am, and that I have got this energy within me, this potential within me, that it's just the flick of a switch. And I saw that in myself last year. I just decided, I turned it on, blinkers on, I went, let's go, like let's go, let's freaking go, because that's the most powerful thing about this for me, is that there was a part of me going into the room that thought, there must be some trick I'm missing, this $1 million trick, or this like thing that's like not landing in the brand. And of course there's always strategy and different things we can plug into, but for me that identity shift that occurs from putting yourself in these rooms and being in an experience like Freedom Queen, that shifted everything.
And then we were talking about this during your VIP weekend this weekend of, there have been times in my business where when I was going through more difficult things, I went to more events. This year we were joking and laughing about this because we've seen each other nearly every month, or you've been, my team saw you in August for the Go First event that you did. For those of you that don't know this, Alicia did a 115 person event in London, sold it out within 8 days, and she dropped it in July, and it was early mid-August. 115 person. Some people struggle to sell 50 tickets to their event, and you sold out 115 tickets in 8 days. But that was just incredible, and we have more of those events coming around the world next year. But you this year have said yes every time to be in the room, whether it was Mexico or New York City or Costa Rica. And you said you had people telling you, don't go, why would you do this traveling again? Yeah.
And this is why for me it's seeing the opportunity and being able to really leverage that, and just know that even if in the moment it feels hard, because there were moments where like I was training for the London Marathon this year and like did that race, and I even came out of it with a busted ankle and my foot in a bandage, and I was like, Morgan, I'm getting that plane, like I'm coming to New York, I'm going to win the affiliate prize, I'm going to bring more people to Freedom Queen Live, be in Times Square with you. And just every moment that I've put myself in the room, that I've said yes to these opportunities, each time that has occurred, another shift has happened, another layer has been revealed, another level has been gone up, and it's just been so powerful to do this. And this is the thing that I think people don't realize, is when you ride off of that momentum, that's why this year it's just continued to constantly spiral, but upwards in the most incredible way. And the lead from this, and that's why I knew in my heart as well that Freedom Queen Live, like being on that stage, was something that I really, really wanted to achieve and earn my way through with you. Because it's one thing to email you and say, I want to speak on the Freedom Queen Live stage, Bridget, I'm a client, versus actually, I'm building a movement within your movement. I'm coming with you on this journey and really embracing the work of Freedom Queen, and it aligns so well with my brand message and mission and vision, and it complements that.
That's one of the things that, we talked about this a lot this weekend, is your passion for impact. And we were talking about this, I think it was at dinner last night, how you don't go into this business because you want to make millions. You don't. Like, if you want to do that, go do something like what Robbie does, or go do something behind the screen. You don't really talk to anyone. We go into these businesses because what we love most is this. Like being with other women, talking. We were talking about that for breakfast this morning. Like, I never wanted a business that was just course creation, passive, go viral, like never talk to anyone. I make money in my sleep without ever talking to anyone. It's like, what? Like, then what do you like to do in your life? Like, I love this for the people. And
Yeah.
that's something that has always stood out to me about you, is that you're really in this work for the people and the different offers that you're creating, because you could make money in other methodologies and other vehicles.
Totally. And that's why for me it has to be, like I say this to my clients all the time, Bridget, like, what is the why beyond the money? Like, what is the why beyond? Because that reminder, that truly is the thing that gets me out of bed every morning and gets me in the creation zone and gets me really locked in, through those moments where, like, maybe it's a little bit harder with things happening in the personal life or what's going on in the business, but that impact is everything, because I know that I have got a God-given gift. I know all of us have got something within us we should be living out. I see so many people that aren't truly fulfilling that are ignoring the call, and they're not, the whisper's getting louder and louder and they're doing nothing about it. And I feel so embodied in the work that I'm doing and calling people forward. And that impact, like, truly that's what it's all about, because it's that ripple of how that impacts people. It's why I even say all the time to my clients, like, and there's those moments of no one's watching my stories or no one's bought my offer after 3 days. It's like, well, what about the hundreds of people that have consumed that have just had a shift in perspective? They've not yet DM'd you or got the link or bought into the offer, but they're buying into you, and you're creating a shift behind the screen that you can't even see. So you know what you know, but imagine what you don't know. Imagine how much you're moving people. Like, Bridget, that you've transformed my life and business. We've worked together in proximity now, the mastermind and private coaching. What you know from working with me, but there's so many other women that you touch worldwide in the brand, be that at events, be that in your smaller offers, micro offers. There's such a ripple, and it's that reminder, I think, of coming back to being really grounded and going, okay, this is what it really truly is all about.
Especially in the seasons where it's harder. I find a lot of people spend way too much time giving attention to the negative clients, the bad things, the cancellations, the haters, the negative comments on posts, versus looking at the clients that they love working with. Looking at the amazing testimonials, the people that text you and say, thank you for dropping this training, the email that says, that was so great, I can't wait to get the next one, I can't wait to come to your event. Like that, it's so much easier to pay attention to the negativity because our brains are wired for survival. So you think that something's wrong over there, but really, and we've talked about this, it is just about setting up business systems and also your own nervous system, but self-leadership to say, I'm not going to give these things attention. Team's going to take care of any negativity type of situation, and you're going to focus on all of the positive things that are happening, because that's what compounds the business. Then you're able to keep showing up and deliver, and you want to make content. If you're constantly consuming negative clients, people, situations, of course you don't want to sell the offer. Of course you don't want to make a piece of content. How are you supposed to make a piece of content that's supposed to serve someone when you're thinking about so-and-so that said something rude about you? Then you're going to dim your light and not want to show up. So I love that you said that, because people don't remind themselves of that enough.
Yeah, totally. It's all the reasons that you can versus why you can't, and that reminder of, like, you're doing it for those people that are, leaning in like this, that are sharing like this, that are like a reflection back to you. Because just like those rooms that you go into reflect back your power, your clients do, and the women that move into your world, the people that move into your spaces, like, they do that. And it's just, when you come back to that reminder, it truly does bring you back to the space of, okay, well, this is really why I started all of this. And I found that no matter where I've been on my journey, whether it's been to my first 5K month, to 10K, to 100K cash, to now, crossing the million, that heart is still there. And that same reason, and the impact just gets to be bigger. That's the great thing about it, is that the more that you can go viral on people's hearts and minds, the more that you can create these opportunities, you're ultimately widening your reach. Like, you're not just growing, you're scaling. And that is so powerful.
It has to be it, especially when you're scaling, because there are harder things that happen with scale, whether it's holding more people, more attention, eyes, you have a bigger reputation, that if you start to detach from the people, when you think back on the you that started it in the first place, then there starts to have a disconnection in the soul, and that is a very much so a very big piece of why people move to want to work with you, is they feel the heartbeat of the movement of the company, and they want to be close to you and learn from you. The second that starts to go away, you start to feel disconnected from your people, and you can see it in people's brands when they're going through something hard, or they start to close your heart off, like you were talking about, or they become bitter or sad, and they start making content that's more angry versus, I always, when I would see people like that, it's like, you just have to pray for them because they're going through something really difficult.
Yeah.
Their heart is hurting, and, they have to walk themselves out of it.
Yeah, and I think that the thing of that is truly as well, I think that that's all about healing and also moving through leadership in your own way, because there's definitely times when I was earlier on in my business when I was processing these things and moving through them, because it had been years since I'd had to deal with anything like this, like comparable to when you were at school maybe, and you've fallen out with some friends or something bad happened. And actually there's been, my audience will know this, the people that follow me closely and are in my world, but there's been so many moments this year where that could have been me. I could have been projecting that narrative online, or I could have fallen back, like you said, and closed my heart off again, but I haven't. And I've used that, it's a moment where for me the choice was either like, do I fly or do I fall? And do I take this moment to, instead of focus on, like you said, that negativity or like the things that are going wrong, actually, where do I want to take the company, and what's going to move things forward? What's going to be the thing that I can pour my energy into, my heart into, and get creative around to continue to build the brand and build the business? Because the truth is, Bridget, one person didn't make my business, one person won't break it. Yeah, mic drop. Amen.
Let that silence land. Yeah, it's like, the people that win are the people that don't quit. You just keep going. And you have to. This is a big theme of Freedom Queen Live this year, which is the difference between a star and a superstar is her ability to reinvent herself. You have to keep reinventing yourself and finding the new edge and the new way you want to pioneer and lead your business. That's what will continue to compound the depth and weight of your company. If you stay the same, your business isn't going to grow. And that's why, like you doing this weekend, I've watched you since Friday. For everyone listening, we went on this amazing yacht. That was one of my favorite yacht and moments last night when we were dancing on tabletops or whatever.
Literally dancing on the tables.
Steve Aoki. Well, we'll just leave it there. It was us, Steve Aoki. We're sober.
Yeah.
And it's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So
but that's all you need to know.
That's it. Whether it was that, the yacht, or yesterday in the photo shoot, or the shopping, like just watching you transform and evolve, that's why you're so magnetic. That's why people want to work with you long term. They want to buy all of your offers through the new year, your high ticket, your one-to-many, all of them, because you're someone who keeps evolving.
Yeah.
And you don't stop.
Yeah, continuously. And I think for me too, that's why I've got a very high retention rate in my company with clients that have been with me for years, and women that come in. And I had this just recently with a woman that came into an offer 1 month ago, and she's gone from the 1K mini offer into a 10K offer, another 5K, and she's now bought a ticket to Freedom Queen Live and is coming with me next month. And she's come in, and I've just seen this woman shift, and that's what happened. I'm continuously evolving, so my people grow with me, and they see all of these different moments and opportunities. And I think what is something I'm really passionate about myself is that I'm absolutely an authority. I feel so grounded in my leadership, but these women, and any of you that are coming to Freedom Queen Live, you'll see this in me. I was you, and I've been there, and that shift has occurred in such a short space of time. And to me, that possibility, and these other women that are in my world that see that, and they see the opportunity too, like I saw it. And that's what really does turn me on, is that knowing, the evolution that I'm creating is paving the way and showing a path. And I always say, you're going to get there faster. I might have made more mistakes along the way, or it took me longer to get to, passing $1 million in cash. But for you, I absolutely believe that's going to be collapsed in the timeline, because everything that I've learned along the way that now I get to bring forward and teach you and share with you in my leadership, in my offers, that's going to shift that for you too.
Yeah, that's the entire point of mentorship. is so that the client can do it faster than the mentor.
Yeah.
It's like, here, I've learned all of this
Yeah.
stuff. Don't go down that pathway. Avoid that. Change that. I see
Exactly.
there's a huge problem about to happen. Avoid that. Then you can bypass that. And that's why there's so much power in proximity and getting close to people. So I'm just so excited for you. And for the rest of this year and going into 2026, this is a massive evolution period for you.
It's the first time I feel like ever in my business I've not even wanted to put a number to it, because I actually don't think I can predict the bigness of what's about to happen and about where we're going next, because it's millions, it's, you know, all of that, the number's great, but, you know, it just makes so much sense the way that things are falling now in the next few months. Like, I've been pulled and pushed this year to stretch my capacity to hold more, and I feel that now, and I've got that space to hold that, and that's what feels really palpable, is that thing of, I always say this, let go and let God, and just trusting and knowing that everything is happening in the right timing, and it's all just falling into place, and I can have this idea of what I want life and business to look like, but I just know that it's all going to unfold exactly as it should, and it'll be even better than what I imagined. It already is.
Yes, it totally is. And I'm so happy that we did the VIP weekend before Freedom Queen Live. Now we have a month to Freedom Queen Live. And then for those of you that don't know this, she's been creating a movie that's going to premiere in December in a theater, which is so iconic. So what you have planned for your people in the UK, and I think that's a really big note that we can end on, is you are pioneering the way for so many women in the UK, who, I always say this, like the UK audience and other audience as well, German marketplace, sometimes French, there's so much opportunity there for them, for you to charge more, everyone in the UK, to make more money, to be seen in a bigger way than the English marketplace or the American marketplace. And so that's what you're doing with this premiere and the different events that you put on for the women in the UK.
Yeah, I think that's why as well, the first partner event that we did in August, Go First, it landed so well. I mean, you mentioned earlier, like 8 days, it sold out, and we had, you know, a good, I'd say 70-80% of those attendees were from the UK, and we even had people fly in to join it, and same with my premiere, like the amount of British people that are coming, but I've also got clients flying in from the US to come to my premiere and other spaces, and, you know, being able to create this, and that's something for me I'm very passionate about as well, is that, like, something I've observed in the market is that there can be, those conversations around money can be a bit more sticky, or there can sometimes be, you know, it's quite a cultural thing, I think, especially for women in Britain. I had this when I was in corporate, to not speak about money, or to, you know, there to be like this lack and scarcity mindset, but actually that shift, and there's so much that happens in America, like I'm loving seeing even more come to the UK, and bringing Freedom Queen as well as a partner has been incredible to bring, and to be able to like show this movie and create this experience that I've created, because it isn't just a premiere, it's actually very experiential what I've designed for the event, for this to be a real call to action and in the moment embodiment piece for these people to come to be in my movie theatre, to see that movie, to see themselves in that movie, most importantly, because what I've created, I truly believe anyone can, but not everyone will. And I want that for so many more women, to just believe it and go for it and say, you know what, I'm locking in. Because that's what I did last year. I locked in. Yeah. Lock in.
Lock in.
We locked in last night.
That's what you have to do.
We locked in, all weekend, and just keep locking in.
Always. Robbie and I always say, when you have the opportunity, we always say, we look at each other and go, push in the chips.
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit back and say, well, that's been fun, and, you know, you start kind of coasting, right? Somebody said to me last night, he's like, we make great money, like we could just be comfortable. And I was like, no, comfortable is a really dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
It's like you start to settle, and so lock in, push in the chips, truly see what you can actually create, because that's why I believe that we actually do this, is to see what can you and I actually build, what's possible when you really go to the edges.
Yeah, and the thing is, everyone desires more. Like, of course, I could stop here. I could be like, right, this is me, done it. Like,
Yeah.
$1 million business.
And I think that's okay too.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people see someone like you and they wrong themselves, right? They're like,
you're right,
I don't want to go so big. That's okay. You need to have discernment. But for the woman on the other side of that, a contrast to that is, if you are the woman like Alicia that's like, I want to go, then go. Don't listen to people that are saying, I'm good here, I don't want all that. If you do want all that, then really go for it.
Yeah, because that's the thing, you don't want to shame yourself either way, because I've had moments, like you've mentioned earlier, where people have said to me, slow down, or like, do you really want to do that travel or do that thing?
Right.
But I knew that it was the very thing that would allow me to propel myself forward into that next move that I need to make in order to become her now and move, because I'm the kind of woman that, if I do sit still, if I do get comfortable for too long, like you said, it's dangerous, and ultimately it's not where I want to be.
Yeah.
It's someone else's projection of, what's possible or not possible for them, or what they desire versus what I desire. And that's it. Like, thank you for giving me that permission too, because like, since I've played so much bigger again, everything just feels, and it does feel easier. It does, truthfully, like being more embodied in actually what you want and being able to create how I do, and move this, like it's less like trudging through treacle now, and it's just more flowing, because everything just, the offers, they all roll into one another. The creation, it's tapped in, it's channeled, it comes through, and it's just being able to actually say at the core, right, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and this is where I'm going, and nothing, blinkers on, is going to stop me or slow me down. Like, being that uncircumstantial woman, unshakable, like, that's been it. So lock in.
Yeah, so lock in.
Lock in.
Well, this has been amazing. For those of you now, you know Alicia May Morton. If you didn't know her before, you'll see her speak at Freedom Queen Live. If you don't have your ticket yet, DM Alicia on Instagram. If you're in the UK, come to her premiere on December 12th and lock in. Is there anything finally you want to say?
Well, I mean, just to close off this space with you, Bridget, and share, like, this moment you're listening to the podcast with me and Bridget, you've been called to listen in this moment for a reason. I truly believe that every moment that you make a move or a decision, be it to come in the room, listen to an audio, join a training, there's a reason for that. It's not just you ticking off the box to say, oh, I've listened to my training today. So I want every woman that's listening to this right now to hear my story, my journey, to hear what we've been speaking about, and allow yourself to access the wisdom from that and the moments from that remind you of your power too. Because I want to, if you're at Freedom Queen Live, I want you to come over and say, oh, listen to that podcast, Alicia, you and Bridget. Like, if you're not there and you're a woman that's a Freedom Queen, or you're continuing to move things, like, I want to see that for you. So let this be a moment, because the power is, you have the choice and you have the power within you to make that decision. So I just want to end by saying, lock in the rest of the year and just see what's possible, because what I've done in 12 months, I have no doubt that you could do in 3 months.
And with that, we will see you at Freedom Queen Live. Go to Alicia's round table number 3, and lock in. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.